What's up, peeps? If you've been here for a while, you've probably seen some of our main bedroom makeover series. We're living the cave life of our dreams in the bedroom now, but a few of you noticed that the bathroom looked pretty good too. So in today's video, I'm bringing you part 1 of our main bathroom makeover. This is only going to be a two-parter, so let's get started. I actually started this part of the project back in January of 2022, but these shelves were done ages ago, specifically in May of 2020. I actually filmed a video for my old channel when I installed these. You can find that link below if you want to check out how I did it, but they're made of poplar and stained with a vinegar stain. The brackets won't hold a lot of weight, but they're generally sturdy. The plan is to keep these intact, so I removed each one and marked the location with masking tape and a Sharpie. I finished clearing the accessories out of the room. Everything is still in great shape, but the color and vibe just don't really match with our current vibe. I tried to find something different at the thrift store, but nothing really screamed at me to take it home. So I'm gonna spray paint most of the metal accessories in this room. I wanted to really scrub these walls. I mean, bathrooms, you know? Anyway, I definitely needed a super clean slate to start with. I'm using about a half a cup of OxiClean in about a half a gallon of hot water in the sink, plus I'm using this Bona floor mop to fully scrub the walls. And I repeated the process all around the room. Don't worry, I will eventually lose this shower curtain to make my life easier. At first, I just didn't want anyone to see the state of our shower, but I take it down to paint anyway, so you're just getting a sneak peek now. Then to get rid of any OxiClean residue, I did a vinegar rinse, and I'm using hot water plus plain old white vinegar at about a 50-50 mix. I also used the same floor cleaning pad after I rinsed it out.
I forgot, I can't even get to the stuff until I move some stuff. Thank you.
I asked Mr. CCDIY to give me a hand removing the light, and he was more than happy to help me out. He turned the power off and got to work freeing the fixture from the wall, but I just want to be clear here, neither of us are electricians, so please don't follow this as a guide for how to uninstall a light. With this last thing out of the room, I was ready to get painting. I'm using Kills Restoration to prime this bathroom, and like I said, it's a bathroom, so I'm doing as much heavy prep as possible. This stuff coats great. A warning about paints like this though, a paint with really heavy pigmentation can have a lot of settling if the can sits on the shelf for a while. This can had a ton of sedimentation at the bottom. It took me almost 12 minutes of constant stirring to get everything mixed in, but once it did, the paint performed beautifully. You can avoid making the mistake that I made by having the store shake the can for you. When I paint a room, I like to cut everything in first. That way I can roll up to the brushed areas and leave a smoother finish. Since I'm doing 2 coats of this restoration primer on the ceiling and the walls though, I didn't have to be very careful while I was cutting in the corners or around the trim. My plan is to totally redo everything in this room except the toilet, vanity, and floor. Cutting in the whole room took a little under an hour. Bathrooms are tiny and it's really hard to maneuver, but I did my best and I got her done. Rolling the paint on went much quicker. Like I said, I did 2 total coats on everything, but I only filmed a bit of this first coat since you really can't see white paint on white paint anyway. While the first coat of primer dried, I used some dish soap and hot water to thoroughly clean the glass globes from the light fixture. Like I said, I know white paint is hard to see go on over white paint, so I'm not going to show much of the ceiling painting process, but check out just how freshened up the entire room is after that primer. I have to say, the Kills restoration is really good. The shower, on the other hand, yeah, not so much. I was so excited to try this paint, and the funny thing, if you've been watching the bedroom series, you already know what color this is, even though this would have been the first time I opened the can. I'm using Evergreenfog in the Duration line by Sherwin-Williams. The second I got this color onto the wall, I knew it was the right choice. Such a soft, neutral green. I'm so glad I had a chance to use Sherwin-Williams Color of the Year this year, and I love it. I used a small fabric roller with a thick nap for a few reasons. First, because my walls are really heavily textured and that helps to get into all of the grooves. Second, the room is small, so it's just easier to wield a smaller roller in there. And finally, they rinse out faster using less water, so it's actually a little more eco-friendly. I finished up doing the rest of the room off camera, and then I left this to dry for a few hours. Then I did a second coat and let that dry overnight. In the morning, I got going on cleaning the metal pieces. They weren't too bad since I clean these regularly, well, everything except the paint on the light fixture. I wiped it all down with clean water and left everything to dry. And while I waited, I freshened up all of the trim with a coat of white semi-gloss from Behr. And that wrapped up all of the painting in the room. But I still had all the accessories to finish up. I started by giving everything a scuff sand with a 120 grit sandpaper. Then I used Rust-Oleum Metallics in satin nickel to coat everything. I added tape on the inside of the light bays to make sure I kept paint out of the mechanisms. I realized I probably should have sprayed a primer first, but this only took 2 coats on all sides, so it wasn't too bad. I did the second coat off camera. I was just tired of the tone and shade of the vinegar stain on the shelves, so I got to sanding them. Apparently though, when it sinks into the wood, it really changes the entire color. I got a really grayed out natural wood tone underneath the stain. We have a few different types of wood in between the 2 rooms, so this is gonna fit in perfectly. For top coat, I used 2 generous coats of Faux Effects Varnish Plus in a satin sheen. This varnish is thick, so I place the product in the middle and feather it out towards the sides and along the edges. That way I get an even coat, but I avoid pooling. I applied the 2 coats within a couple of hours of each other and left everything to dry overnight. And that's where I'm leaving you on part 1. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss part 2, especially with that shower coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. And please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That really helps my channel to grow, and I truly appreciate it. But that's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for being here and watching. Later, peeps!
Hey look, I'm wearing my uniform again.
Kind of are. Yeah, I wonder if it's helpful though. Having the paint in the room. But I still had all the accessories. Accessories?